Okay, so in this video I'm just going to have a look at adding and subtracting algebraic fractions. Now to get started here we'll just do some non-algebraic fractions. So if we take, for example, 2/3 and we want to add 3/5, what we would normally do is try and turn these two fractions into fractions with the same denominator. So if we take the first one plus the second one here, what we would do usually is multiply the two denominators, or find a number that is a multiple of both of these numbers, 3 and 5. So the number that comes to mind anyway is 15. So we can put 15 here and here. 3 will divide into 15 5 times. 5 will divide into 15 3 times. What we've done to the 3 here at the bottom is multiplied it by 5. So we must multiply the top part, the numerator, by 5 as well. So we should get 10. So, in other words, this 2/3 here is exactly the same fraction. This 2/3 here is exactly the same fraction as 10/15. This is the reduced form of the fraction. This is the non-reduced form of the fraction. So this is the simplified version of 10/15. So we do the same to this one here. What did we do to 5 here to turn it into 15? Well, we multiplied by 3. So multiply the numerator by 3. And we'll get 9 here. So both of these fractions now, 3/5 and 9/15, are the same fraction as well. This is the reduced form, this is the non-reduced form. So we can add these two. We have 10 of these 15ths and we have 9 of these 15ths. So if we add those two together, we'll just get 19/15. Now you would do the same if you subtracted here. If there was a minus here, you would just say 10 minus 9. So it would be 1/15. Okay, so that's the general idea. So what we're going to do is exactly the same thing, but now we're just going to introduce letters. So let's take, for example, 7x over 9, and let's add 5x over 3. I'm going to add these two. You could add or subtract them. It's the same procedure. So let's look at our denominators first. We have a 9 and a 3. So what's the lowest number that 9 and 3 will divide into? Now again, you could multiply the 3 by the 9 and get 27. So you could use 27 here and 27 here. That's fine, but it just means that you're going to have to do a little bit of simplifying at the end. There is a lower number than 27. You've probably spotted it. 9 is a number we can use here. So we could put 9 here and 9 here. So 9 will divide into 9 once, 3 will divide into 9 3 times. So let's have a look at the first fraction here. We have a 9 on the bottom as our numerator, and we haven't changed it here, it's still 9. So we don't need to do anything with our numerator here. Our denominator here is 3, and we have to change it into a 9. So we multiplied this 3 by 3 to turn it into 9. So we must multiply the numerator by 3 as well. Okay, so let's put these two together then. We have a 9 on the bottom, we have a 7x up here, and we have 3 5s. This will give us 15x up here. 3 times 5 is 15x. So finally then we just have 15 and 7, 15x and 7x, so that will give us 22x over 9, and that's it. So this would be what you would get when you add these two fractions together. Okay, let's have a look at another one. Let's take 2x minus 1, and we'll put a 4 on the bottom here, I think. And we'll add these two again, 3x minus 1 here, and we put a 6 on the bottom here. Okay, so again, let's have a look at our two fractions. I'm just going to do one line here at this stage. Our two fractions here have a 4 and a 6 as their denominators. So the smallest number that 4 and 6 will divide into, the lowest common multiple, in other words, is 12. So 4 will divide into 12 3 times, 6 will divide into 12 twice. So let's have a look at that. Let's have a look at this fraction first. We have to multiply 4 by 3 to get 12. So we must multiply the numerator by 3 as well. That would be 2x minus 1 times 3. So this fraction here is exactly the same as this fraction here. We now put in this plus here, so I'll just put that in here to show that we've got two different fractions here. So let's see, we have 6 here. That will multiply by 2 to give us 12. So we must multiply our numerator over here by 2 as well. That will give us 3x minus 1. Okay, so now we just got to multiply out the top part, the numerator of our fraction here. So let's see, we've got to multiply out this 3 by the 2x and the 3 by the minus 1, this plus 2 by the 3x, and this plus 2 by the minus 1 here. So let's do that. You've got 3 times 2x, which is 6x. You've got 3 times minus 1, which is minus 3. You've got plus 2 times 3, 6x. And you've got plus times minus, which is minus 2 times 1, 2. And that's all divided by 12. So now at this stage what we need to do is just look at what we've got on the top here and simplify it. So we have a 6x here and we have another 6x here. So that will just simply give us 12x. 6x plus 6x will give us 12x. We have a number here and we have a number here. So we've got a number, this is a number, this is a number, so we can add those. So we've got minus 3, minus 2, so that's going to give us minus 5 over 12. We've added these two fractions and simplified it to give us this fraction here. Okay, so let's look at one more. Let's take 3x minus 2, and we'll put that over 4. We'll subtract x and we will add 1. So let's see what we can do with this one. Now we have a fraction here, we have an x here, let's turn it into a fraction by putting it over 1, and we have a plus 1 here, let's turn that into a fraction by putting it over 1 as well. We will draw our division line here and look for our lowest common multiple. So our lowest common multiple of 4, 1 and 1 is just going to be 4. They all divide into 4. So if we take our 4 here, what do we do to this 4 to turn it into 4? Well, we just leave it alone, or we just multiply by 1 if you like. So we're going to multiply the top by 1. It's just going to be 3x minus 2. We could put a times 1 there if you like, but it's the same thing. So this fraction here, we haven't changed it. We're going to put in this minus here now. We're going to put in this minus here. So that just becomes minus. 1 here, we have a 1 down on the bottom here. So what did we do to this 1 here to turn it into 4? We multiplied by 4. So we must multiply our numerator by 4 as well. So that's just going to be 4 times x, which is 4x. We put in this plus, and then we look at this 1 here. What did we do to this 1 to turn it into this 4? Well, we multiplied by 4. So we got to multiply this 1 on top by 4 as well. So that just gives us 4 on top here. So here we end up with 3x minus 2 minus 4x plus 4, and that's all over 4. And finally then we can just simplify these. We have a 3x here, we have an x here as well, which is minus 4x, so we can add these two here. So we've got 3x plus 3x minus 4x, that just gives us minus 1x. And here we have a minus 2 plus 4, so that will give us plus 2. This was the minus 2 plus 4, that will give us plus 2. And finally then at the bottom here we just have 4. So this is what we get when we add these three fractions. When we add these three fractions together, we'll just get this here.